Okay, we're live for another day in paradise. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Another cold and miserable day out, but hey, we're here, right? We'll get into whatever's going on in the world, whatever drama. I wanted to see apparently Candace is dropping a expose video on Erica Kirk, so maybe we'll check that out. Not sure that it really matters that much. I think Candace has lost all credit in the majority of people's eyes, but we'll see. We'll see. On everything. Rumble chat, multi chat there. Cool, cool, cool. All right, we're good across the board. Welcome, everybody. It's much appreciated that you showed up today and are hanging out. Don't mind if you lurk. You can chat if you want, but there's no pressure. We're just going to be hanging out and chilling. Maybe play some video games later on, or sooner than later. First Pokemon controversy of all times. Alright, let's keep with the Pokemon controversy. That was from Hero High, I guess, huh? There's more RAND news. Declares we will not surrender and the United States will observe. Okay, I guess we gotta check that out too. I'm trying to make money in the stock market. I mean, I've more than tripled my money right now. I started with $20. I'm up to $98 on this one meme coin. I'm hoping that it continues to go up. But we will see. Should we watch this one? Liberal Hive Mind, probably. We'll see. Jump the Nux. Heck yeah. Love watching Nux stuff. That's old. A new Primal? IGN Fan Fest 2026. Stop bowing to Muslims. Okay. Yeah, Ilhan Omar made a complete fool out of herself. A bone girl on human skin. What? Yeah, it's just an oscillating. Alright, I think that's good enough to get started out with. Oh, news on Don Lemon. Is this the quartering or is this the salty cracker? Blazing Mad Muslims, sure. Yeah, Candace's real motivation. Candace Owens series against Eric Kirk exposes real motivation. Okay, yeah, we'll check that one out too. So where are we? I'm home. Candace. We'll go with. We'll replay this one. Started watching this one. Let's
Candace Owens is attempting to smear Erica Kirk as a child
Candace
groomer, of course, based on no evidence whatsoever. I would like to highlight the time that Candace Owens defended 5 child groomers, including 1 convicted child molester, back in August 2023. She did this because this minor is also the alleged victim of the Tate brothers.
It's relevant to this case to discuss her history before she ever met a Tate brother.
That's right, her husband's good buddy, Andrew Tate.
I've known Andrew since before Andrew was Andrew. You know what I mean? He's a great guy.
I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house and make me money. That's what I wanted. So I was a pimp in that sense.
Oh, yeah.
Now, she says that she does research into her.
And so I thought this is an easy thing for me to actually research.
Of course, research for Candace Owens literally means that she just read a lawsuit that the Tate brothers had taken out against this alleged trafficking victim after this alleged trafficking victim had testified to the Romanian authorities.
Began with what Andrew Tate had to say.
Now, Candace Owens repeatedly names the alleged victim, who was a minor, when 5 grown men groomed her. I will, however, cut out all these mentions of her name. Instead, you'll hear my voice saying minor's name.
So who is
minor's name?
First, I'll tell you who she is, according to the Tate brothers, who is suing her in Palm Beach County, Florida. According to them, again, if you want to take their word for it.
Now, I'll let you be the judge if you should believe what the Tate brothers say or not.
What did I do? I helped some people organize some accounts on an internet website. That's what I did.
I created a system that allowed me to convince girls to do this, allowed me to retain 100% control of their income. I know how to make sure the girl can't run away.
Now, really what all of this boils down to is her attempting to say that this one girl, that she, in fact, is the predator and that these 5 grown men are the victims.
She has a chain of victims going back several years to when she was a minor.
Now, Candace Owens portrays these grown men as young men.
This young man, Dustin Milner, a young man named Tyler Hensel.
These were not young men in the early 20s, okay? These were men who were aged 34 up to nearly 60. Now, all 5 of these grown men were with this girl, ranging from when she was 15 to 17 years old. And the age of consent in Florida, if you're over 24, is 18. But they're all the victims, according to Candace Owens, not the teenage girl.
You have a woman who is doing this to men.
It's also important to point out that ignorance is not a defense in Florida. It's absolutely up to these grown men for them to confirm and know the age of the woman that they're having sex with. So Candace Owens' defense, it's not even a legal defense.
On multiple occasions, she has accused innocent men of horrific crimes, resulting in their unjust incarceration.
Now, the problem for Candace Owens is that one of these men was actually convicted of molesting this girl when she was a minor.
58-year-old Keith Fox posed for a mugshot Tuesday. Police say he had sex with a 15-year-old girl.
Essentially, it was believed that she was having sexual relations with him, and the courts found that to be true. And he is now been sentenced to 24 years in prison.
Disgusting.
And he was not only convicted of molesting her, but convicted of molesting another minor as well.
There were 2 girls that were involved in that case, just to be clear, and one of the girls admitted flat out to having an outright sexual relationship with him, including sexual intercourse.
Now, what does Candace Owens do? Because she realized that this is a big problem in the narrative that she's attempting to push. She beeps the name of the convicted child molester.
The only reason I'm not going to name him is because at the time of the allegations against him,
minor's name
was in fact a minor. And that, of course, is relevant. So we just want to be ethical here. Throughout this episode, by the way, you're going to hear some beeps when I'm discussing this case. If I accidentally say his name, we intend to just beep it out.
Yes, she beeps the name of the convicted child molester. Yet she names the molested child over and over again. Like I said, the entire episode was dedicated to attacking and discrediting this girl who was a minor when she was involved with this convicted child molester and with these other grown men, because she doesn't want you to look into the case to realize that there's no basis for this narrative that she's attempting to push.
And not expose his name so that people can look up the case because, as I said, she was underage at the time.
His name is Keith Fox, okay? That's who she's beeping the name of, and you can look it up. It is publicly available.
The arrest report shows that the teen's mother hired a private investigator to follow her daughter and Fox. Last June, while Fox's wife was away on business, the investigator saw the teen at the front window of Fox's home, quote, in the nude, touching one another in a sexual manner. And the teen described her relationship with Fox to detectives as more of a father-daughter one. She also told detectives that he was a mentor to her.
It started off with just a very close relationship between a teen student and her yoga instructor. He made a few inappropriate comments.
Police say those escalated to several serious
Like a bunch
allegations
of
against
yoga
Fox.
instructor.
Performed deviant sexual acts in the bedroom, such as urinating on her during intercourse. Is serving a prison sentence. His life has pretty much been destroyed here.
Candace Owens wants you to feel sorry for the convicted child molester who has 2 victims aged 12 to 15. That's who Candace Owens is. So now remember, Candace Owens' entire attack of this minor
Andy's
is
no
that she
bueno.
lied about
She
her
never
age to
has
these
been.
grown
I
men.
never really
She's
liked
got
her.
this trial going on with
Except for when she was going after like
Marlon
BLM.
Fisher, and he begins to suspect that she lied about her age. She
Probably her
lies about
best
her age
news
repeatedly.
cycle was
Well,
when she was
Candace
going
Owens
after
goes
BLM.
on to read text messages between Marlon Fisher and this alleged victim, where they're openly
But she has just
discussing
become
the fact that
overly
she's underage.
crazed.
Marlon Fisher is well aware of this, and he's not breaking up with her.
This is the text message exchange between Marlon and
Minor's name. Context is the alleged victim has claimed that she was raped by Joel Friedman, another one of the grown men that was with her when she was a minor. And Marlon Fisher is pressuring her to confront Joel Friedman about it. And in it, they're openly talking about the fact that she's underage, and this could be a problem for Joel Friedman and for Marlon Fisher. Minor's name.
He writes, "Can I message Joel to tell him that I have a boyfriend?" Marlon Fisher says, "As you clearly understand, nobody cares that you have a boyfriend, but if you'd like to tell him that he raped you, by all means."
Minor's name.
Says, "I'd like to not put our relationship at risk. I'll gladly tell him when I'm 18 and anybody else that happened with." So sweet you are. You're breaking up with me because I don't want to tell Joel that he raped me. One, I don't know if he would tell other people that I'm underage or who he would tell. And if they know that I'm dating you, what happens then? Imagine your girlfriend tells you that she was raped by some other man.
Here she is reading text conversations where these men are well aware of the fact that she's underage. Candace Owens is even aware that they're aware because she's saying that this could be a problem for them.
She's kind of coming up with the reason, oh no, I don't want to say anything. Oh, then he'll know that I'm underage, blah, 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 blah. This might impact us.
So this whole narrative
might
completely
impact.
falls apart. It
Should
makes
have.
zero sense.
Should have
Just like
impacted.
it makes zero sense that Candace Owens would beep the name of the convicted child molester because the case involved a child, but yet she names the child. But she knows their audience are complete dummies, and they're not going to question her. So they just go along with what she says. But also, let's just remember that all of this is framed around
her entire audience reminds me of.
So let's talk about the Tate brothers and how
Minor's name
met them.
And Andrew Tate, Candace Owens' husband, George Farmer's good longtime buddy, himself in Romania is facing charges for human trafficking, but also sex with a minor, a 15-year-old, and trafficking of minors, another minor.
I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America.
Vivian's been with me 6 years.
So he's been with Vivian for 6 years, right?
Vivian's like 21.
Vivian's 21. And at this point, he's been a girlfriend for 6 years.
Vivian's younger.
Said, tell the camera, I beat you when you don't do as I say. I didn't say the word listen. Did I say the word listen? Did I say the word listen? Stupid bitch. I didn't say the word listen. Did I say listen? Did I say listen? No. Look at the camera. Did I say listen? No. Did I say listen?
So Candace Owens is out here attempting to portray Erica Kirk as a child groomer based on no evidence whatsoever, while Candace Owens herself has quite the track record of defending men who range from convicted child molesters to men who are charged with trafficking of minors and sex with a minor. That's who Candace Owens is. So Candace Owens, please spare me the virtue signaling of you pretending that you care for child grooming. All right, you absolute hypocrite.
Now, that's from a Christian perspective, even though they claim to respect Jesus, right? But apart from that, if there's a woman in front of them, they're...
That one's getting closed. Home there.
You interviewed Tony.
That was
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here.
Let's see what
today
Rev
we're gonna be
has
looking
to
at
say.
the ongoing Emiru situation that really is exposed just how fake and disingenuous these people are in the streaming scene, especially in that LA streaming scene that so many people talk about, where all the biggest Twitch streamers go. And with Emiru, it seems like all of her friends, all of her besties, all the people who love to profit off of her and live nearby her. They haven't shown up. While she's getting berated and harassed on a daily basis for her very controversial opinion of not having an opinion, they haven't shown up whatsoever. In fact, the only people who seem to be defending her are complete strangers, or people like Shoeonhead, or people like Asmongold, who's considered some crazy, hateful individual. It's crazy how he's the only one, or one of the very few, who publicly will come out here and stand up for his friend. Now, in case you're not familiar with the whole situation, very quick run through. I played the clip, but there's copyrighted music. Basically, a viewer, who I think was trying to bait her into this, by the way, asked her what her opinion was on ICE. And she said, if you need a streamer who doesn't even know anything about politics to tell you about politics, you're probably cooked. Okay, you probably need to get off of the internet and find someone who's more comfortable and more qualified to talk about something as serious as that. A completely reasonable take. However, the usual suspects on Twitter and on social media generally were not happy with this response, including content creators like Denims, who created images like this, calling her a racist chud.
She's an evil
for
woman.
Not having an opinion whatsoever, which led to a dogpiling campaign that got so bad that pretty much a torrent of content creators would come out and say disparaging things about her, including the local dog zapper Hassan Piker.
That's not just consuming at that point, it's supporting and regurgitating her to her apolitical audience. Her audience is not apolitical. Her audience is right wing. Let's be fucking real. And she is performing to an audience. Like I said, I think it is the financial pressures of having an audience that is comprised almost entirely of Asmongold's biggest fucking dipshit warriors is the major reason as to why she's not revealing her perspective on ICE, or until she got yelled at.
No, she's just smart.
From where I'm standing, though, I don't think Emiru's a bad person in general, but she is actually very comfortable and very directly aligned and financially entangled with actual bad people. I will say that about Asmongold. Asmongold's a bad person.
Of course, the irony here being that Hassan Piker is trying to do a guilt by association, not only flexing his unbelievable obsession with Asmongold, but also creating this guilt by association, which could be easily applied to the content creators he surrounds himself with, who are absolute lunatics, and the fact that he surrounds himself with and even interviews and glazes up terrorists. Another complete double standard for this guy, but hey, what's new?
No win.
But what's really interesting is, where are the friends?
Yeah,
where
Bonnie,
are the people
Cinna,
who are holding it down for Emiru during this whole situation? They've been silent. I mean, here's an example of her two roommates, Bonnie and Cinna, who have done nothing to speak up about this.
Well,
they're roommates. They're supposed to be like best friends.
And say, it's as easy as this.
Emiru's getting dragged, not just by thousands of social media users, but by major content creators and content creators they're friends with. And yet they are completely silent. And this was something that was pointed out in Shoeonhead's video talking about the cult of the cry bullies. I talked about this the other day. But yeah, she brings up an excellent segment asking where are the friends. And one example of those friends is Cinna, who actually said F ICE. She said the line because obviously she wanted the virtue signaling points. And now that's being used as a way to weaponize that sort of a statement against Emiru.
You know who doesn't do political content? Cutie Cinderella. Cutie Cinderella literally never does political content. And even she's capable of saying F ICE. What about Cinna? You don't have to be a political creator to recognize that it's not hard to say ICE.
You don't have to be a political content creator to say the line. All your other friends are saying the line, Emiru. Why aren't you saying the line, Emiru?
L ICE. Okay, but unironically though, f them. Straight up. Hey, f them. Yeah, it's f them, don't care. And if you don't like that I say that, it's f you too. You know what I mean? It's really that easy for me, I'm telling you right now.
There's Emiru's roommate saying the line. Aren't we all proud of her? By the way, where are all her friends during all of this? Where are all her morally righteous, good guy, big streamer friends while this is all going down? While she's being dragged by half the internet for doing absolutely nothing wrong. This girl who literally just came out of an
You know,
allegedly
when Asmund steps
abusive
in, though,
relationship.
it's
This
like
girl who
they're gonna-
literally just got assaulted, grabbed by some freak at a convention.
Emery
Now
crap
this
that,
girl
Big
is
Brother
going through
Asmund
all of this.
stepping in.
I guess it's fine to be silent when your friend is getting dragged by half of the internet, but don't you dare stay silent about current thing.
Absolutely stunning and brave stuff from Cinna. She saved countless lives on that day when she made her statement there. But the funny thing is, we know where this goes, okay? When you have people who are closely associated in the content creation space, people who are supposed to be close friends, roommates, when you have one
Get all the
party
nasty
saying
people
F
out of this
ice and the
country.
other saying, I don't want to
They
talk
need to
about
go.
it because I'm not comfortable, there's going to be comparisons. Now, Cinna made her statement about a week before the whole thing with Emiru happened. But of course, you can see like quotes like this saying, Cinna always W, learn Emiru. So people are now harassing Emiru using this old clip, using them as comparison points. And that's where I think a good friend would come out and say, hey, I had my own opinion. She didn't want to share her opinion because she wasn't comfortable. Please leave her alone. This is not some private matter. I don't know what they say behind the scenes. I'm sure there has to be some conversation that was had. But looking around, this is a very public matter where people are publicly comparing the two and using it as a means to harass Emiru. A true friend would step up and do something to try to quell the harassment, but that hasn't happened whatsoever. And of course, there was backlash.
Not
when
like
she
that
said
they look
this,
for it. They want
because
it.
it's not
their
the 100%
absolute desire.
accepted opinion as she thinks, because she's surrounded by a bunch of people in a sort of echo chamber, right? Who believe all the same things, who say the line because that's what they think gets them the most virtue signaling points and the most acceptance in the LA streaming scene. But she would respond to the backlash that she got for saying F ice, and the reasoning for why she did it and why she thinks she is allowed to do it is eerily similar to what Emiru said.
Bro, by the way, I go on Twitter yesterday. Sidebar. I go on Twitter yesterday. You know, I said the thing that I said, don't care about whatever I said. I said, like,
You said the line.
Thought it was like such a lukewarm take, like nothing burger of a take. Because, like, anybody can say that because it's true. Most people feel that way. Bro, that shit banged on Twitter, got like 30K likes. But, like, you know what I mean? I feel like, I hope that you guys all, I don't ever try to force my opinions on other people or anything like that. But I also don't want anybody to ever, like, overly idolize my opinions, because I'm, at the end of the day, a streamer. You know, I'm a dumbass. Like, I know me, I'm a dumbass.
Yeah, we can tell.
So I never want anybody to idolize my opinions,
Not that
but I
hard.
also never want anybody to question where I stand, if that makes sense.
The irony is so insane. So she's saying basically that nobody should be idolizing her opinion because she's just some random streamer who knows nothing. And yet that is literally what Emiru said. Except Cinna gave an actual statement, but Emiru did not. So if you're all just kind of unqualified, not knowledgeable enough, if you're not knowledgeable enough and give your opinion, isn't that more irresponsible than just saying I'm not qualified or comfortable to talk about this? Like, it's literally the exact same scenario. She just gave the line that everyone's demanding, but Emiru did not. The irony is palpable, ladies and gentlemen. And also in this, she also talks about how, at the end of the day, she doesn't want to force opinions on anyone. Well, you know what? I think it's very clear that opinions were forced very heavily onto Emiru. I mean, eventually she would make a follow-up statement, which no doubt was the results, or heavily the results, of people harassing her and calling her a racist and a Nazi and all of these things because she dared to say, I don't want to talk about a certain subject on my stream. I'd rather just do fun stuff and cosplays and stuff like that. I mean, it's absolutely insane the lengths people have gone, even saying she is a racist because she wears a cowboy hat in the video where this clip comes from. Absolutely insane stuff. And
He's
again,
cosplaying for Red Dead Redemption.
This is a clip from January 16th, a month ago, where you have her friend and roommate Bonnie crying on stream, looking at sort of a snapshot of her memories with
Mrs.
Cinna
Duck.
and Emiru. Where's this girl? Again, I don't know what's going on in private, but like your friend's getting dragged not only by users online, but also by content creators you're friends with and closely tied to. I think it's very obvious that they're just throwing her to the side because they don't want to threaten whatever's going on. These people didn't show up for her friend. And sometimes you got to show up publicly. I mean, this is a public matter, and the comparisons are being made between Cinna and Emiru, and then you have Bonnie on the other side saying nothing. And yeah, that's where you're left. It's a very messy situation, but you know what? There was a very public figure who came to the defense of Emiru. Asmongold. I know. The absolute bigoted, hateful man that he is stuck his neck out for Emiru, his friend. He seemed to be one of the very few public creators who said anything in support of her and gave her some grace during this period. And this is something that he talked about. This is something that he analyzed while looking at Shuan Head's video, where, you know what? A lot of people don't want to talk about it because they don't want to threaten their relationships in the streaming scene. And that's really sad.
And never friends defended her. I mean, again, I wish more of the, like, I mean, again, I don't want to get involved in like Emmy's, like her friends or something. Like, I don't know about that. I don't want to talk about it a lot for obvious reasons. I know them. But like overall, I do think that a lot of them should have defended her. I guess I should say that. Yeah. I mean, I think they should have defended her. And I didn't like the fact that they didn't come out and say that. And I think that, like, if you want to do that, that's fine. But it's important to keep in mind the people that, you know, don't do that for you. Right. Yep. And I find it to be problematic. It's very problematic. So, yeah, those are friends. I mean, I definitely wouldn't look at things the same way. If that was me, I would not look at things the same way after that at all.
Necessarily bad
what he's
people
saying
either.
is absolutely correct.
There.
A lot of people don't want to come out
Looking out
and
for
defend
themselves,
her
and that's all
simply
that
to
they care
protect
about.
their bottom line.
Yep.
They were saying the line to protect their bottom line, and now they're not defending their friend to protect their bottom line. And good on people like Asmongold for actually saying something, someone who's actually friends with her and stuck his neck out for her during this absolute
It probably
chaos.
really pissed
But
them
look
off,
at the responses to this tweet sharing the clip we just saw. It's all over the place, ladies and gentlemen. So you can see this one with a lot of support saying probably because Emmy's only real friends were the controversial ones like Asmon and Tectone. The other people on those streams were clout chasers.
Yep.
Then this totally sane individual says he's trying to isolate her. I think he's in love with her. So this is a take of a person who needs to immediately take their meds. Someone actually believing that defending a female friend means you're in love with them. That's the only motive for defending someone being dogpiled, a friend being dogpiled who happens to be a woman. Absolutely insane. If you're talking about isolating people, you know what isolates people? People like Denims and Hassan, when they go out there and call her a racist chud and say she's associated with bad people and that she needs to cut ties with her friends like Asmongold. That's what isolation looks like. Isolation also looks like your close friends and roommates not saying anything publicly to defend you. That's what isolation looks like.
That sucks.
Then this person says Asmongold holds back on Emiru for no reason. He's all brass knuckles on everyone else but her. It's weird. It's not weird in this situation because she did nothing wrong. Does this not compute? Do you not understand this very complex situation? The reason he's defending her is not just because she's his friend. It's because he believes, like many, she did nothing wrong. She did nothing to warrant a torrent of harassment and slander, not only from random users online, but from people in the streaming scene as well. Here's another one saying, I'm still shocked that she got canceled for not speaking on a topic that she openly says she's not informed on. And that goes back to the Shuan Head video. There's that one part where we're talking about say the line. Say the line. And you had people like Denims literally saying, even if you don't know, if you're not knowledgeable, say the line. Say the line anyways.
It's just not that hard to say ice. It's really not that hard to say ice, to be honest. It's so hard to just say
I love that she
ice.
kept going
It's
with
really
flag.
not hard to say ice. Jesus Christ, how hard is it to just say ice? How hard is it to just say ice? How hard is it to just say ice and move on? Oh my God. Just say ice. It's not hard. Is it so hard to just say the line? Say the line. Say it.
She's right when she says most streamers are not qualified to talk about politics. Okay, here's the thing, dude. You actually don't have to be
you're not
qualified to talk
qualified,
about politics
and-
to say ice. It's not that hard of a
You need
concept.
to be in a
You
straight
actually
jacket.
don't have to know what you're talking about in
I
order
can't
to just
stand
say
it.
the line. What? You should look into a topic, do your own research, come to your own conclusion, and form your own opinion on the topic. You should not just blindly, mindlessly say the line.
So I think a good spot to sort of end this video is this quote on the same post by Legal Mindset saying streamers aren't usually friends with other streamers. They're more like members of the same professional organization. They network and play
They
nice
work
as
together.
long as it meets their interests.
They're
but
work
there's
friends.
no real care for each other's long-term success or genuine well-being. That is the sort of black pill, but the harsh reality of a lot of
Especially when
content
they're mutually
creation.
benefiting or one
A lot of
or the-
connections are made purely out of
external
financial
parties
interest,
benefiting more
clout
than the,
chasing,
you know,
what have
main
you.
party.
It's very
Like, I remember,
disturbing.
like, lets them
and
live
at the
in the
end of
house
the day,
with
I
her.
look at all this stuff and
I'm
I just
sure they
can't
pay like
believe
rent
it's,
and stuff,
it's
but
worth
it's probably a lot cheaper
all
than what it
the-
would normally be in the
the
area.
groveling
It's a huge
and
house.
the fakeness. It
Like,
just
come on.
it certainly cannot be worth going through all of this just for the money. But apparently it is for a lot of people. And this whole situation has really exposed that even people, you know, who live together and seem like they're such great friends, don't really got each other's backs when it really matters. Like a real friend would see what's happening to Emiru and try to do something publicly. It's way too late at this point. Like the damage has been done. If they were to do anything now, like who cares? It literally doesn't matter at this point. It'd be so fake and disingenuous. It'd be a forced statement because they've had all this time. They've said nothing. They've, in a way, contributed by saying nothing. Their communities are attacking her. And there's this rift that has now been created. And I don't think these labels ever go away. When you're called like this racist chud or whatever because of her her intent to not speak on ice, that stuff's not going away. Once you get that sort of label, people hold on to it forever, and they even start expanding on it. The roots keep growing, the lies keep growing, the assumptions keep growing, and this is something that's going to follow you for a very long time. I've seen it happen to just about anyone who's ever been even in the tiniest bit of controversy. It will continue to follow you. People will hate you forever, and that's the way it is. And yeah, this whole scene, disgusting. I would literally rather do anything else than be a member of like the LA streaming scene. It is absolutely toxic and filled with backstabbers, and people are just commodities at the end of the day. But that's going to do it for today's video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Do we want to watch Pokemon? Oh, this is only 2 minutes. We can watch
For 3 million Twitter views that says Pokimane shares a new discovery with her viewers. Quote, if you're a guy watching, you're not going to believe what I'm about to say. Adults are never naturally blonde. It doesn't exist. If you see someone with blonde hair, it's dyed. Do your research. And there's now thousands of people in the responses arguing the quote in the OP. But that's not actually what Pokimane said. So here's the clip. Take a look at this and compare this to what the OP said.
Can I tell you guys something crazy? And I know if there are guys watching, you're not gonna believe what I'm about to say. Adult people are almost never blonde. Like adult natural blondes basically don't really exist. Very small percentage. If you see an adult person with blonde hair, 90% of the time it's dyed. And I know you're gonna think I'm lying, and I thought that this was false news too, but it's not. Sometimes people are born with light hair, but almost all the time, by the time you're an adult,
Information. Let's see what Grok has to say. of natural blondes in the world. %. I mean, that's a lot of people, but still. Less than 5%. I mean, I know brown is average, but still. Oh, well, we'll get back into it, but I just wanted to say thank you for hanging out. No worries about lurking. Oh, I got a chatter. It was 2 minutes ago. What's up, Accord? Accord? Why is it not playing the sound when I get these messages? I used to get sound coming through for when somebody would type in chat. Let me try to figure that out real quick. Streamlabs, maybe Streamlabs. Login. Can't remember which one it is. Chat stats. No. I don't want chat stats. That's no. Also. Dashboard. No, non-activity feed. Where is that? It must be in Streamlabs then. Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure why it does that. Weird. No, I have ground control. One sec. Ah. A labs board. That's only available in Ultra.
Have you ever been so locked into your game that you don't read your chat and then your viewers and your mods start flaming you about how bad of a streamer you are? Well, today Streamlabs has the solution, and it's called chat notifications. You can essentially set it up to ping you after a certain duration.
I thought it was Streamlabs. Dashboard. Chat notifications. Dashboard. Why did that get disabled? It's supposed to be enabled. There we go. And I really should just have a Rumble chat here. And then what I will do is, sorry, I'm fixing some things. Now maybe I can do this. Chat. Green. 30 seconds. There we go. That'll work. Well, at least I won't miss chats. I was wondering why I didn't hear it. We're good to go.
It's dark. Blonde people aren't real, noted. Basically. I found that so interesting. There are just certain things you learn at some point. Like, huh?
Now, while the OP successfully engagement baited this whole thing, getting so many people to argue about the quote and not the clip, there are still a number of issues with Pokimane's actual take that I'll discuss in the rest of this video. For example, when she says that blonde adults basically don't exist, I know she's being hyperbolic, but yeah, they definitely do exist, especially in Nordic countries where some have even a predominantly naturally blonde population, like Finland, for example, that apparently has a around 90% naturally blonde population. So Poki's take, is like erasing entire countries, you could say. Despite her poor phrasing, I think she's making the argument that natural blondes are rare, and that is true. For example, most natural blondes are white, and white people only make up around 16% of the global population. Of that figure, only around 5 to 20% are naturally blonde, depending on the study that you cite. So again, yeah, that would fit rare, so to speak. One thing that Poki is 100% wrong about, though, is her terminology, saying that most blondes are dyeing their hair. That's just not true. It's actually bleaching. It's the complete opposite of dyeing. Dyeing is adding color and pigment. Bleaching is taking away color and pigment. You generally can't dye dark hair because dyeing doesn't take to dark hair like that very easily. You have to bleach it. You have to remove the color, and that's what gives people the blonde look. It's the bleach. Anyways, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I lost IQ making this video, but I'll leave it there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully we have something more interesting tomorrow, and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you.
Iran's I told her. So, Liberal Hive, let's see what we got.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by FiveMind.com. Well, the spin machine is already in full effect, folks. Donald Trump issues what I'd say is a historic performance at the State of the Union address. And not only was it historic, but I think it was a massive risk that he took. Taking it as far as he did, being as matter-of-fact on some particular issues as he was, and really just taking it to the Democrats to the degree that he did, it very easily could have backfired. But in the end, it appears it didn't, and that's according to CNN. But of course, here comes the copium from the left. Here comes the manipulation from the left. They're now trying to warp the numbers and convince everyone that Trump's address to the nation was a failure. But I don't know, I'm seeing something quite different. It's looking like a pretty positive reaction to me. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so following Donald Trump's address, this popped up on my timeline. This is the Trump Lie Tracker, one of those paid DNC shill accounts. They post this video and write, CNN's exit poll reveals that Trump's speech flopped amongst people who watched it. Other presidents ran circles around him. This is amazing.
Girly girl.
But like most posts from these left-wing morons, it's a nice headline, but then when you actually watch the video, well, something doesn't exactly seem to track.
David, what did they say?
Yeah, well, I just want to take a moment here to explain. This is a poll of speech watchers, so it is not a poll that is reflective of the population overall. And what we know about people who tune in to State of the Union addresses, they tend to be fans of the president, whichever president is giving the speech. So the polling universe here is about 13 points more Republican than the overall population usually is. So just keep all that in mind as we go to the results of our instant poll. Get this reaction from those that watched the speech tonight. 38% said they had a very positive reaction to the speech. 25% somewhat positive. 36% negative. So roughly two-thirds
I thought it was very positive.
In the positive territory, one-third negative among speech
other
watchers.
than the Democrats.
How does that very positive number stack up against previous addresses? Well, look here. It's about 6 percentage points lower than Donald Trump was at with the very positive score last year. He was at 44% very positive reaction last year. This year, 38%, even though the universe of speech watchers was actually even a bit more Republican than it was last year.
Sure.
And we also took a look at that very positive speech reaction here compared to previous presidents in this midterm year. So in 2026, this year, tonight, 38% very positive reaction. Joe Biden 4 years ago, 41% very positive reaction. That was the year Democrats lost control of the House. You see Trump in 2018 was at 48% very positive when his party lost control of the House in his first term. So you see here, again, Donald Trump is at the bottom of this. I think these polls, even by fans of the president, people who tuned in to watch tonight, and he gets a 2/3 overall positive reaction, I don't believe those polls.
I'm sorry. CNN has kind of ruined their credibility.
Even compared to a year ago when he gave his speech to a joint session.
supposedly Donald Trump's speech was an absolute flop because only 38% of people approved. That's what I'm seeing a lot of left-wingers gather from this. But that's not the number now, isn't it? No, and I'm sure you guys see it as well. No, that's just the very positive reaction. In these types of polls, you have to mix the positive and the very positive to get your real number. And that shows the approval rating of Donald Trump's speech from CNN viewers at 63 freaking percent. 63. Oh, but it's slightly below his previous speech and slightly below other presidents in recent memory. Okay, so what does that mean? That means literally nothing, especially when you consider all the factors here. First of all, this being a poll of CNN watchers. Secondly, kind of what I was alluding to in the intro, Donald Trump really took it to a new level. The idea that he made those Somali remarks and other remarks to Ilhan Omar's face, and CNN viewers had a perception of 63% approval. Well, that tells you everything that you need to know now, doesn't it? And you know what? I'm down for this new approach. I've been calling for this for a while. Enough trying to cater and placate to people who will never vote for you. Enough trying to play this, politically correct game. Oh, the independents, the left-leaning independents. We need to win over Democrats. No, you don't. The way you win elections is by being yourself unabashedly, by telling the truth without fear. Think about it. That's how President Trump won in the first place, right? According to conventional wisdom. And of course, the pools again. Oh, the pools. Trump wasn't supposed to win in 2016. No, how could he? He had said too many mean things. Yeah, well, actually, what he was saying was actually stuff that most people agree with. The silent majority. And in a lot of ways, Trump galvanized people to vote who had never voted before. And we still see that phenomenon today. You got people showing up in a general election to vote for Trump, and then those people don't show up during the midterms because they're not there to vote for John Thune and Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, Ted Cruz. No, they're on the Trump train. And until the GOP gets on that train, they're not interested. I have a feeling that this speech was more effective than the mainstream will ever admit. It was clearly, obviously, very positively received. And there's probably some people who are listening who are thinking, finally, talk about galvanizing your base, talk about winning over people who may be either marginalized or just kind of disenfranchised from the entire process. All things considered, considering how far he took it, these numbers are amazing. I mean, freaking amazing. And it's kind of hard to make the argument if you're a left-winger that nobody liked this speech, it was a total flop, when CNN is showing that only 36% of people that they polled, speech watchers from their network, disapproved of the speech. A measly 36%, the typical Blue Anon crowd. Seems pretty damn good to me. The right track, wrong track numbers were also good.
Among speech watchers tonight, 64% say his policies will move the U.S. in the right direction. And look at the growth President Trump made over the speech. So pre-speech, it was 54% of speech watchers said his policies will move the U.S. in the right direction. Yeah. After the speech, that number goes up 10 percentage points. So Donald Trump made some progress with people watching the speech from their pre-speech expectations to what they saw in the speech itself. And that 64% number, that's pretty much in range across all of his State of the Union addresses. In his first term, last year, the joint session, that's about what we've seen. Is roughly 2/3 have walked away from his speeches thinking he's going to move it in the right direction.
And so all in all, I think, it's pretty fair to say it was a smashing success and possibly even a turning moment. There was so much negativity, so many distractions as of late, and Trump needed to make a bang. He needed an inflection point here, a turning point, and this might have done it. If the next 12 months are relatively stable, of course, I'm sure Democrats will do everything in their power to see the opposite come to fruition. But if things are in fact stable, if Trump's economic agenda and other policies start lining up, start maturing of sorts, well, then who's to say that we're not headed up from here? Of course, I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I've already seen some generic ballot data that's slowing down for the Democrats. And considering their performance, I mean, I think they would have been a whole lot better off doing absolutely nothing, but instead it was all these theatrics, all these pathetic displays that we saw. Well, who's to say that we don't have a little bit of a reset here and a little, mass reminder as to who's who? President Trump, who's unabashedly telling the truth and fighting for the American people and their interests, and the Democrats, who are clearly only interested in scheming. Everything they did, of course, was calculated. It's all about galvanizing the Blue Anon left-wing base. Ooh, Donald Trump is evil, and we are protesting him. Now show up to the polls in the midterms. so we can impeach the orange man. It's obvious that that's what they're doing. And now the question is that going to give regular people who aren't totally freaking brain warped by Democrat propaganda a little bit of a sick feeling to their stomach? And also, I gotta say, I find it quite interesting. The Democrats are making this claim that Donald Trump's speech flopped. Oh, the night was so bad for him, when really the most embarrassing moments didn't come from his speech. No, they came from Democrats and whatever they were doing at their protest State of the Union. They called it, I believe, the State of the Swamp, and they had a couple other, counter events.
Some waiting music. Let's get the cues going. Let's get all the people into the streams.
And tonight, I defy Trump and his authoritarian project by standing in joyful, radical, peaceful resistance with the Portland Frog Brigade.
We had a
Frogheads.
virtual town hall meeting a little bit ago, but we talked about the frogs, and boy, they are rocking this town. Let's give them a round of applause.
The frogs are turning gay.
Of unicyclers, naked bike riders, the guy in the chicken suit,
So what?
and a whole lot of frogs. No war zone to be found, friends. When Donald Trump sent his agents to the street of Portland, we took on authoritarianism because we had the frogs and we won.
Fresh out of an ICE prison in Minneapolis. Over us being ourselves. Over me singing songs like, hey, Mr. Tangerine Man, get rid of brown people for me. I'm Aryan white. There ain't no place I'm going to.
Yeah, who was really embarrassed yesterday? Trump or these freaking clowns? I mean, even their own party member, even John Fetterman, was questioning what the hell the Democrats were doing.
No idea. I don't care if it's a Republican or Democrat as a president. Just don't do that. Don't do that. Respect the office, regardless who's in that. And now, for me, it's like now when half the people in my party haven't showed up, and then some of them have chosen to just yell and say and scream during all of it, I just don't think that's what we want. And I don't believe, as a Democrat, I think, like, dancing frogs really moves the ball for us as a party either.
And they had another embarrassing moment, this one.
This is the moment.
That's why I like Fetterman.
This is the reason that she came here to the United
level-headed
States
Democrat.
to speak truth to power, to
Very rare to
explain
find.
the trials
He had
and
a
tribulations
stroke.
that every
Why I
immigrant
say maybe
and
these people
every
need
refugee
lobotomies
goes
and they'll be
through
smarter.
to get here, and to press this country to
border! I stuck at the border. Go Trump! Go Trump! Hey, Murphy, you're a scumbag.
Thanks, man. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like Trump did pretty damn well, if you ask me. 63% approval from CNN's audience, as well as a supermajority believing the country is headed in the right direction. Meanwhile, Democrats, dancing with frogs and getting photobombed. Not to mention the embarrassment and shame they brought upon themselves with their disgusting behavior at the actual event. I'd say Trump came out looking pretty damn good. And Democrats pooped their frickin' pants, let's be real. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Okay.
Now, Benny Johnson tweeted this tweet from Donald Trump, and it's honestly incredible stuff. All right. Wow! Gavin Newsom just dropped out of the presidential race, Donald J. Trump. And that's crazy, because the presidential race didn't even start. So I think this is amazing.
He basically got himself
Gavin
kicked
Newsom
out.
Dropped out. What could he be referring to here? What could he possibly be referring to in this area?
His
What is he
idiotic
talking
comments.
about? That's so wild. Well, he's talking about this. This clip went giga viral, and I mean giga viral, and it looks even funnier. I showed this to you before, but he doubled down in the worst way ever.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
All right, bro walks into a group of black people and he's like, yo, I'm
can't
just like
read,
you.
and I'm good.
also retarded. I'm also dumb. I also can't read. That's crazy. The only difference between me and you is that you could say the N-word and I can't read. We're literally the same. How do I know you can relate to me? I'm literally retarded. It doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't get any better than that. So bro decides to show up and talk about how and he talks like this. I'm like you. All right, this is incredible stuff. I love it so much. Bro's more racist than I am. All right, and I try. All right, I'm racist for a living. I'm literally racist for a living. And
Called
this
racist
motherfucker
every
beats
day.
me every day. It's honestly humiliating. It's embarrassing. Like, I would consider myself, like, not casually racist. I'm, like, professionally racist. I'm, like, professionally racist. I do my absolute best to learn facts. See, I'm anti-rape, and therefore if there's, like, certain communities that are, like, rapists in general, I'm just not a fan. The left is normally pro-rape in order to not be racist.
Yeah.
All right? I feel like a total
Badly.
amateur, a chump next to this guy. It's crazy. But what if I told you he used to gloat about how he could read so well?
You've written a hell of a book, and I don't say that lightly. I went through it in a quick hour and a half, almost 2 hours. And trust me, I don't read very fast, but it reads at an unbelievable pace. It's
He read a
So he
300-page
can
book
read
in an hour and a half, 2 hours.
so well written. And of course, it's so familiar because I felt a little bit adjacent so much of the subject matter. But it's 18.
They want this guy to run
the
for president.
hands.
He's literally like leading the Democrat polls for the guy running for president.
Chapters.
I
It's
thought
an
Kamala was
impressive
being him out, but I
piece
guess
of
she really
work.
dropped in the polls, huh?
263 or so pages.
That's incredible.
You've
Which is
263
great.
pages.
but-
He read it in an hour and a half. That's insane.
I
So
mean,
let's just
I don't
understand
really
what's
care if
going
it's
on.
Gavin or
When he talks to white
Kamala
people,
going against
he
whoever's
says,
next,
"I read
JD or
super
Rubio,
super fast.
whoever it is.
I'm just reading. But when he talks to black people, he's like,
But yeah,
I'm also
I think
a
they'll
gigantic
get smashed
retard."
one way or the other.
Yeah,
They'll
but
just
I'm
be
the
so
racist one
stupid.
for noticing that the average Somali IQ is 67. So this is the craziest
Yeah.
thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, you know that?
This guy, he'll talk to white people.
Literally,
"I read so well,
67 is their
I'm so
average
good at reading. I read,
IQ
I'm
of
so good.
Somalia.
Yes, nuclear physicist. And then he talks to black people.
And
He's
yeah,
like,
sure, there are a bunch of factors to that.
Anyway, it's pretty great.
Inbreeding being one of them.
Anti-racist, I would say. Now, another thing that my guy's been doing lately, and this is truly incredible. Gavin Newsom pardoned an illegal alien convicted of attempted murder. Samboon Fiamani lost his green card following a conviction for attempted murder. Right? This isn't just an accusation.
And
Okay,
assault with a
this
firearm.
isn't an accusation. This is real. All right. He actually was convicted for attempted murder. All right, assault with a firearm. Following the conviction, he was placed in removal proceedings and issued a final order of removal by a judge, all right? So they can't yell and scream about due process. They literally got a guy on attempted murder for deportation. The judge agreed. He had an order of removal, okay? Gavin Newsom's pardon took away this attempted murder's qualifying convictions that made him removable from the U.S. by protecting criminal illegal aliens like Faimani. Gavin Newsom is putting the lives of all Americans on risk. So Gavin Newsom is out there signing pardons for retards that are murderers and attempted murderers to put them back on the streets. This is incredible. He just keeps doing it. I wonder why there's so much violence. I don't know. I wonder why California is a giant shithole. Well, we're going to be looking at that in just a minute. But this is truly incredible. So that's not it. Newsom did another thing. He started something called the Elderly Parole Program. The Elderly Parole Program is a program to let people out of jail if they're elderly. Just doesn't matter what they are, doesn't matter what they do. I don't care if they're child rapists. Put them on the street, says Gavin Newsom. Well, that's exactly what he did. Because remember, prisons are bad. Prisons go against human rights. We need to abolish prisons. I'm a leftist, and I want kids to get raped because I'm left-leaning, and I believe in the human rights of rapists and pedophiles.
This is so wrong.
Truly unbelievable.
I got a phone call.
So
from a
wrong
retired
that he
sheriff's sergeant
did
who
that.
served child abuse back in 1995 about.
Look, I've been saying this for the longest time, but my stance on like a lot of policies, especially immigration policies, is this.
Stop raping, sir.
And the left just doesn't agree. This is it's a slight ideological difference I have with the left. I believe in the idea of not raping, and then the left is pro-rape. It's really rough these days.
About this case.
Stop raping, Grandpa.
David Allen Funston, he helped investigate it. He was angry because he read he was being released. I had no idea about it. Read the LA Times article.
Wow.
Saw what they'd spoken and got the wheels rolling.
What's going
So
on?
yesterday, they printed out probably thousands of pages of arrest reports on Mr. Funson and the cases he did.
All right, Mr. Funson is out.
And take us back to 1995.
All right, what's Mr. Funson been doing in 1995?
He was out preying on children in the Sacramento area.
Ah, a pedophile. He was just wandering around and saying, "Hey, Sonny, it's California here. Gavin Newsom might let me out of prison if I only diddle a couple of children." And so that seems to be what happened.
We're talking children as young as 3 to the age of 7.
As young as 3, you're saying? As young as 3? Gavin Newsom, I may be an elderly person on parole, but 3-year-olds can't run very fast.
Exactly.
One young girl in North Highlands kidnapped her, molested her very viciously.
Holy fuck.
Drove her to Placerville and kicked her out of the car after punching her. Think about that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that.
Eventually, through the hard work of the sheriff's
Makes
office,
me angry.
did a great job investigating it. Thousands of pages of interviews of children. And one thing about these kids, they were resilient. They did an amazing job IDing him. And back then, as a parent or anyone around kids, hey, don't take candy from strangers. Don't follow anyone. Don't get in someone's car.
That's good advice.
This is what he did. Lured them with candy, Barbie dolls, toys.
Yeah.
And abused these kids.
Quite literally. Quite literally.
Yep.
We got the worst fucking guy ever. The guy that every parent warns their children to stay away from. A guy that lures kids 3 to 7 years old with candy and brings them into vans and rapes them and beats them. All right? This is the classic pedophile. Bro didn't even need Roblox, all right?
Horrifically. He was given 3 consecutive terms, 20-year terms.
All right.
He should have been in prison the rest of his life.
All right, so he got 60 years in prison. That's a lot of years, right? He should have been gone for good.
Unfortunately, in 2020, a bill was passed that made folks eligible for parole as early as 50 years of age.
This bill that was passed by Gavin Newsom. It's a California bill.
Once they served 20 years. So he qualified.
So if you serve 20 years in
So he
prison, they just let you
qualified.
out now because you're an elderly person. And they just put you out.
You're automatically good when
He's
you're old.
64 years old. I'm 62. That is dead wrong. These children, he ruined their lives.
Yeah.
And now he's eligible.
He should be
The damage he's
rotted
done,
still.
He stole their childhoods. And my issue is...
Stole their lives. He stole their lives. Child abuse is the biggest nightmare out there. He quite literally stole their entire lives.
The parole board. I read the reports. They're horrific. You've seen some of the things he did. There's no explanation. You can't explain it away. There are some folks that deserve a second chance in life. Someone that does these type of things, they don't deserve a second chance in life.
Totally agree.
What are we coming to as a society here in California?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I don't even think this person should be in prison. I think this person should be executed or castrated at the very least. So I
think
firmly
they should
believe
be
that all
dead.
pedophiles need to get castrated. At the very least, like before even
I
needing
think
to
all
discuss
pedophiles need to
prison
be hung.
time, execution, castration is the bare minimum. Bare minimum. You don't need testicles. All right, that's my thoughts. But moving on.
California, that it's okay with this, to let him out. You think about some of the offenders that do the child abuse cases, child molest cases. Typically, they're older males. Now we're seeing a lot of folks in their 20s and 30s. So under the law, and we have folks in their 20s that have pending cases right now, they can be out by the time they're 50, having done 20
That's
years.
right. That's right. You could have a 20-year-old pedophile that rapes a kid, and they would let this guy out of jail at the age of 40 under this elderly parole act, thanks to Gavin Newsom.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Someone has to speak up about it, and we've got to change this.
Yeah.
So he lured these kids.
So again, let's just understand. My stance, politically speaking...
Stop raping, sir.
They do not agree. They just don't see it the same way I do for some reason. For some reason, they just don't see it that way.
Kids. Kidnapped the kids. Kidnapped 2 sisters. He was convicted of 16 counts of kidnapping, child molestation, with multiple young children. Remember, the youngest victim 3 years of age. Sentenced over 20 years in prison, as well as 3 additional consecutive sentences. Consecutive, not concurrent.
Wow.
As they follow each other. A judge in Sacramento described him, and I'll say this, as the monster parents fear most. Yet today, the parole board
There it
decided
is.
he is suitable for release.
There it is. 16 counts of kidnapping. Release him from jail. Why should we keep him in jail? He's probably just mentally ill.
We can't have this. It's got to change. And in California, it's battle after battle when it comes to our children. A few years ago, we're fighting human trafficking of a child. That wasn't a violent felony. Had to fight to get it passed. They got it passed. Now we're dealing with mental health aversion. You can kill your 1-year-old infant and get your record expunged and go work with other kids. What in the hell is going on in California? 100.
Yeah. So essentially, that's kind of what we're dealing with here, and I think it's horrifying. It's horrifying that this is even a law. Sacramento sheriff slams Gavin Newsom's elderly parole program, which allowed David Funston, a serial child rapist, to go free. It's honestly unbelievable that we're dealing with this. It's the craziest thing ever. And again, it just keeps reminding me of this New York Times article, pedophilia, a disorder, not a crime. That's right. It's just a sexuality, guys. It's like being gay. Wow, fantastic argument. Holy shit, New York Times. Very cool. Thank you, New York Times. Incredibly awesome. It's just a disorder. It's just a disorder. It's a sexuality. What? Why should we judge them based on their sexuality? Nah, dude. Nope. No, sir. Nope. Not interested. Well, this is what the left is fighting for. Meet Wilson Reyes-Chuck, an illegal alien charged with the sexual assault of a child. This is the type of person the Democrats want to protect. Meet Justin Wilkes, a career criminal arrested in North Carolina after he reportedly attacked a hospital officer at Health Medical Center. This comes 1 week after he was put on the pre-trial release for trespassing at the same hospital. And he's out of jail again. Gotta look at Jose Dimas Guerrero Castro, one of the worst of the worst illegal aliens, convicted of murder while arrested in New York City after being deported to El Salvador. But don't worry, because New York is a sanctuary city, and they're gonna keep fighting to keep these guys in our country as much as possible. Now, Nick Shirley just made a video in California where essentially he found a homeless child without family, and the government didn't want to do anything to find him housing. I didn't watch this, but I heard it was insane. Yeah, in a state like California, over $24 billion went unaccounted for the homeless. Yeah, weird, huh? Oh, boy. Yeah, the child is left to sleep in a tent on Skid Row for days on end. Wow. That's Gavin Newsom. Thanks, Gavin. Children in America should never be left on the streets while billions of tax dollars are sent to NGOs and nonprofits. Yep.
Welfare check. Are y'all all right up in there? Are y'all all right up in there? You fine?
It's my son. It's fine.
Oh, it's your son? That's not cool right there. We don't have to get you. You need some help?
Well, how old's your son? 12 years old. He's living here on the streets. Can we talk to your son?
Damn. Why do you want to talk to my son?
Just
tell him through the tent. Ask him through the. Can we talk to him through the tent?
Yeah, you can talk to him through the tent.
Huh? You need something to eat? Something to drink? What you need? What you need? You need somebody to talk to? What's wrong? Huh?
Mad at me because I wouldn't let him use my phone.
And you want a soda? I got a soda right here. I don't want to. The soda right here to you? How you want some money? How you want some money? I know that. You want some money? Take the soda. I can take this money.
This is insane,
say
dude.
please and thank you.
Welcome to socialism, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to socialism.
Everything that you are blessed with.
what do you like to do for fun? What do you like to do for fun?
Ride bikes and stuff.
Ride scooters and stuff? What can we do to help you and your mom get off these streets?
How long have you been homeless, you know?
A few days.
A few days?
Is this the first time?
The first time we've ever been outside.
Well, we gotta figure out how to help this kid. Who can we go talk to get you guys off these streets?
Hey, this is a good dude right here, man. You might want to talk to him because he's a major dude. He can get you some help if you need it. So, I mean, he probably can get you and your mom some help. So you probably want to reach out to him because he's a major dude out here. So you might want to talk to him because he can get you some help. So if I was you, I would. Talk to him, Nick.
I'd like to figure out how to get you and your mom some help. Can we talk to you real quick?
Yeah.
Promise we don't bite.
Get out?
Yeah, get out if you can. What do you think we could do? You stay here. He's coming out.
Oh, hold on.
How you doing?
Dude, it's heartbreaking.
Good.
Oh, my little man right there. How you doing, man? You in school?
Soon.
Soon. So right now, is there anything?
The craziest thing is they have so many programs, right? They have programs in LA,
they do.
and like this is an unbelievable.
Happening to kind of try and get you guys out of the tent into an apartment or something?
Right now, I'm just waiting for my income to come through.
How much money do you guys think you need to get into places so you don't have to be on the street?
I have no idea. I don't know how much rent is out here or anything. All I know is...
And how old are you?
12.
12 years old.
So if Nick can get you the help, would you accept it?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
So look into that camera right there and tell them right now. I'm just telling you, this can help you. This is going to help you. Look at that camera and tell them.
And we got this little kid
how
here.
the system is treating you and your son right now.
You're 12 years old. You just got here on the streets.
We could use a lot of help because everything we've tried since we've gotten to LA has been horrible. We got all our stuff stolen as soon as we got here. And yeah, we just need
The Democrats, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
The party of law and order.
as much help as we can get, and we appreciate everything
I'm all right. Think
that
so.
comes our way.
Thank you.
In Jesus' name, amen.
And look, young man, describe to the people what it's like living out here on these streets, because we want to get you off them. And we're gonna post this video.
Scary.
Oh, look, the sun's coming out. And what have you seen so far in these past few days? You're a 12-year-old boy in America living here in the streets of Los Angeles.
Cold. Coldness. I don't think he knows what to say because he's still a kid, but
Yeah.
it's really scary out here, honestly.
And what have you seen for your son out here?
I mean, some people are nice, but a lot of the time it's kind of dramatic and crazy.
Especially because, you know, like this is right near the open border, right? This is the country that's protecting the whoever the fuck knows coming in from other countries. We're gonna look into what's going on in Mexico in just a minute, but this is insane.
There's a lot of nastiness on the streets and stuff.
There's drugs, there's drug dealers, there's retards, there's illegals that who knows who they are, where they came from.
People.
Crazy that she could afford cigarettes, though.
It's just not exactly the greatest place to be.
No, by any means. Okay, well, I'm gonna give you guys some money. Hopefully get you guys in a hotel for a few days. I'm gonna take your mom's phone number down. All right, and then I'm gonna post this video and we're gonna see how we can get you guys some help and put you in contact with best people we can.
And you gotta make us one promise. You're gonna be nice to your mother. If you be nice to your mother, we're gonna get you some help. Look in that camera right there, say you're gonna be nice to your mother.
I'm gonna be nice to my mother.
No, that's not convincing. One more time.
You didn't even look at the camera. I never been on camera.
I'm gonna be nice
I'm gonna be nice to my mother, I promise.
This 12-year-old here on the streets with his mom, we're gonna pay for their hotel for the next 3 days. And then hopefully from there, I'm gonna take down our contact info.
I love how the left basically made Nick Shirley like their #1 enemy. Like,
Yep.
I just see constantly people are harassing Nick Shirley online. It's like, oh, Nick Shirley doesn't know how to pronounce words correctly or whatever. And like, he's done more than all of you retards.
Yeah,
We're gonna make sure that this kid gets into school. This is what's going on here in the streets. And a 12-year-old has to live here. So, this is what's going on. We're gonna make sure this kid's not in the same situation. All right, we're gonna give you guys $500. Get you guys an Uber to here to an hotel, and we'll get you guys there for at least 3 nights.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, there you got $500. We're trusting you with that. And now I gotta see you book the hotel, and then the Uber as well. And then we'll leave you guys alone. What do you want to be when you grow up?
YouTuber.
YouTuber. Why do you want to be a YouTuber?
That's rough, buddy.
Sounds fun.
Sounds fun. It is pretty fun. I enjoy it.
Maybe give motivational speech.
You give a motivational speech. What speech would you give to the people right now?
Stay healthy. Stay blessed, yeah.
Look how racist Nick Shirley is. A right-winger. Look how racist he is.
In your 12 years of life, what have you learned the most?
Not to be greedy.
Not to be greedy. Wise words from a young man right here. We're gonna get him and his mom in a hotel for the next few days. Her hotel is confirmed for the next few days. We're gonna order her Uber right now. And if anyone here in the Los Angeles area wants to help this lady out and her son, or works in any sort of program that can get them housing, we cannot let a little 12-year-old not be in school and also not be sleeping in a safe condition. So reach out to me and I'll put you in contact with them if you have a program. Seriously, please help. I'll put a link. Pack up your stuff.
He's doing what?
Don't be greedy. Yeah, dude, don't be greedy. And the thing is, these are the people to tell you not to be greedy. All right, now you have all these retards that have all the free shit in the universe, okay? And they refuse to get a job. All right, imagine complaining that you have to work for a living when this shit's going on. He knows better than anyone not to be greedy. Honestly, horrifying.
Very much so horrifying.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone's favorite low IQ Democrat congressional representative, Ilhan Omar, has just made an absolute fool, nincompoop out of herself last night at the State of the Union national address. And so now she's actually receiving so much backlash this morning that she has actually disabled comments on all of her social media pages because guess what? She can't handle the heat. Take a look at this. Ilhan Omar on her official page earlier this morning posted this. She said, Donald Trump killed 2 of my constituents. He is a liar and should be ashamed of himself. She posted this video.
Penalties for public.
Let's put this up on the big screen here.
Penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
So Ilhan Omar was having a screaming match, engaging in what can only be described as complete and total third world ghetto trash behavior. Imagine screaming at the president. You are a congressional House representative screaming at the president as he is delivering the State of the Union. Ghetto third world trash is what you are, Ilhan Omar. And now everybody knows it, as if there was any confusion. And like I said, look at this. Look at this. She has disabled the comments on her own post. People can like it, they can bookmark it, they can quote it, they can repost it. She has locked the comments because she can't handle the heat.
Oh.
Now, unfortunately for Ilhan Omar, while she can disable the comments, she can prevent people from responding to her post in that way. What she can't do is prevent people from quoting her post and responding to it in a different way in quotes. So why don't we take a look and see how people around the country are quoting. You can see there 13,000 quotes, no comments, 13,000 quotes. What are people saying here? Jack Posobiec says, replies turned off. Yes, he did. Yes, she did. This individual says, actually, you killed them with your irresponsible, insane rhetoric. You encouraged their actions because they believed in you, and you did it strictly for personal gain. You didn't care about them, so you killed them. You should be ashamed, talking about her constituents that died. President Trump was right. You are sick. This is almost 9,000 likes. This one here, Congressman Randy Fine, he responds, he says, you should be deported.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has 65,000 likes. Yeah, she should be deported back to whatever third world hellhole she came from. Another one here. Tony Rigatoni says, you are lucky to be in a country with indoor plumbing, you third world ooga booga bitch. And you know what? Pardon my language. I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm sorry. But I tend to agree. At a foundational level, I tend to agree with Mr. Tony Rigatoni. So she was able to disable the comments, but she was unable to prevent people from quote. This has 24,000 likes. Oh, my good Lord. Seems like a lot of people agree with that one. And I sure do. Now, so obviously people are pretty much done with all of Ilhan Omar's disgusting third world behavior on the Senate floor during the State of the Union. In fact, House Speaker Mike Johnson himself almost kicked her out of the chamber altogether. Take a look.
From your unique vantage point, what was it like looking out at Congresswoman Omar and Congresswoman Tlaib?
You know, it was shameful, really. And I came this close to stopping them. We could have probably ejected them from the floor. But, you know, I thought let their actions speak for themselves. The president handled it so well, of course. And if they'd gone a step further, we probably would have ejected them. But I think it was good for them to be there. I think it's good for the American people to see the shame that they brought upon their party and upon themselves. And what a stark contrast between them and between the Republican Party. We were standing and cheering for all these great Americans who deserved all this attention tonight. The brave law enforcement officers, military officials who received all the medals and the honors tonight, the victims of crime. I mean, we're on the right side of common sense, on law and justice, on security and American dominance and strength. And the Democrats stand for exactly the opposite of all that. Their record shows it, and their actions tonight, I think, really brought shame on their party.
And you know what? I'll tell you what here. Maybe that is the best possible plan. Maybe that is the best possible approach. Just let all of these far left freaks like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, who is sitting right next to her, let them make fools of themselves in public, on national TV, in front of tens of millions of people, Americans, people around the world. Because I'll tell you what, no sound-minded American really wants anything to do with Ilhan Omar's absolutely insane behavior. There's nobody that's going to look at Ilhan Omar all swaddled up in her hijab, screaming profanities at the president as he's delivering the State of the Union address and say, yep, good for her. No, nobody wants anything to do with this. So you know what? Just let her.
Omar.
Let her have her libtard meltdown. And actually, speaking of insane behavior coming from the far left last night, take a look at this.
Crockett.
The Democrats
She's an
last
absolute
night
idiot.
actually tried to hold their own far left State of the Union addresses. They had a couple of them, actually, as embarrassing as that is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for them, pretty much nobody watched.
Holding several competing anti-Trump events, including one that was dubbed State of the Swamp with Robert De Niro and Mark Ruffalo and others, and several people wearing what appear to be frog costumes.
I defy Trump and his authoritarian project by standing in joyful, radical, peaceful resistance with the Portland Frog Brigade.
The state of our union is not strong. It is hanging by a thread.
Donald Trump, the Republicans, have made this country sicker,
Sicker, poorer, yeah, whatever. So like I said, absolutely insane far-left rhetoric. By the way, you guys know that I'm from Portland. Everybody from Portland knows this Frog Brigade, the Portland, Oregon Frog Brigade. These are white, literal Antifa domestic terrorists. And I'm not kidding when I say that. One of them got arrested. One of these frogs recently got arrested and now has federal charges. So what the Democrats did, they brought up Antifa members. They said, we're not going to the State of the Union. We are going to have an Antifa rally instead with a bunch of Antifa frogs. That is literally what they decided to do. Absolutely astounding. Now, Trump himself, just about 2 hours ago, earlier this morning, actually responded to all of this far left nonsense that has been taking place. We're going to read through this on Truth Social. He says, on Truth Social, when you watch low IQ Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib as they screamed uncontrollably last night at the very elegant State of the Union, such an important and beautiful event, they had the bulging, bloodshot eyes of crazy people, lunatics, mentally deranged, and sick people who, frankly, look like they should be institutionalized.
And get lobotomies.
Yeah, Trump is 100% right. When people can behave like that, and knowing that they are crooked and corrupt politicians, so bad for our country, we should send them back to where they came from as fast as possible. So Trump here this morning is talking about really deporting Ilhan Omar. That's what he's talking about. Let's make it happen as fast as possibly can. He goes on to say, they can only damage the United States of America. They can do nothing to help it. They should actually get on a boat with Trump deranged Robert De Niro, who funded one of these alternative events last night, another sick and demented person, I believe, an extremely low IQ, who has absolutely no idea what he is doing or saying. Some of which is seriously criminal. When I watched him break down in tears last night, much like a child would do, I realized that he may be even sicker than crazy Rosie O'Donnell, who is right now in Ireland trying to figure out how to come back into our beautiful United States. The only difference between De Niro and Rosie is that she is probably somewhat smarter than him, which isn't saying much. Trump is brutal, brutal. The good news is that America is now bigger, better, richer, stronger, and safer than ever before, and it is driving all of them absolutely crazy. Side note, you guys saw that Ellen DeGeneres, I call her Ellen Degenerate, she bought a mansion over in the United Kingdom. She didn't like it. She came back. When Trump won the election in November of 2024, she said, that's it, I'm leaving the country. Ellen DeGenerate moved to the United Kingdom. She didn't like it that much. And now she's actually moved back to the US. That's kind of the way that it tends to go, huh? Really just astounding. So President Trump is absolutely torching all of these far left freaks, even hinting at deporting or denaturalizing Ilhan Omar. And good. You know what? That's what we need to see. And actually, this behavior from the far left has become so insane, in fact, and frankly embarrassing, that even Democrat Senator John Fetterman on Fox News this morning called it out. Take a look.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, now it's, the constant kinds of yelling and screaming and holding up signs and for doing all these things. I don't care if it's a Republican or Democrat as a president. Just don't do that. Don't do that. Respect the office, regardless who's in that. And now for me, it's like now when half the people in my party haven't showed up, and then some of them have chosen to just yell and say and scream during all of it. I just don't think that's what we want. And I don't believe, as a Democrat, I think like dancing frogs really moves the ball for us as a party either.
On that first point here's some of the moments. You had Ilhan Omar out of Minnesota, Rashida Tlaib out of Michigan, and just watch here for our audience.
That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
How disgusting is it that we have to tolerate these two people? Really, how sad, depressing, and frankly disgusting is it that we've got to tolerate these two individuals in our U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C.
That exchange obviously went to immigration and enforcement and DHS funding. I saw an email thread last night where you shook the president's hand. I believe.
Good. Well, listen, Fetterman knows. Listen, Democrats, he's a Democrat. Midterms are coming up. He's saying, listen, maybe the best path forward, our strategy going into midterms should not be screaming profanities at the president during the State of the Union. Maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe that makes the Democrats look bad. It should not be using a bunch of inflatable Antifa frogs. We should not deploy half a dozen Antifa members wearing frog suits. That's not going to help the Democrats win the midterms either. Fetterman might be the smartest Democrat. He's saying, listen, this stuff is not working. But you know what? With midterms less than 9 months away, Americans across the country are making up their minds right now and deciding who to vote for, Democrat, Republican. Maybe, like we spoke about a moment ago, maybe what we should do is just let these far left freaks, anti-American subversive traitors, continue making fools of themselves. Maybe that is the best strategy for us over here on the right.
Likely.
Let them tear themselves apart.
Definitely.
The more they talk, the more they lose.
So there was an incident recently.
I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. Then we'll get into this one. All right, we're back. And thank you for the follow, Africa Dancers. Much appreciated.
In Whitechapel, in a part of London that is heavily Muslim, where a Christian preacher was disparaging Islam. It was standing in public and saying negative things about Muhammad and about Islam, and they called the police, and there was a whole incident there. And the aftermath of it, the discussion around it, brings to mind an issue that is afflicting Westerners everywhere, not just in places like England that have been heavily overrun at this point by Islam, but about the encroachment of Islam and the failure of many Westerners to see it and address it properly. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. Let's start with a clip from this reporter.
This is Whitechapel, and this is a Muslim area. Apparently, according to a local resident who had a confrontation with a policewoman on Thursday. Now, people say many things about this area. It has a large Muslim population. We've got quite a big mosque behind me. And the demographic change has been very interesting in the last 20 years. Let's talk to some local residents about what they think about the recent news and how they feel about living in this area. Those who contacted the police told us their actions were justified because, as they put it, this is a Muslim area.
This is East London, Whitechapel, Bengali area also, Muslim area.
That claim raises questions about how people see the rules applying locally. So we went out to ask residents what they thought. Would you say this is a Muslim area?
More or less.
Is Whitechapel a Muslim area?
Well, apparently it is, but for them to even be proudly say this is a Muslim area, when Christians are trying to live there too, is totally unacceptable.
Yeah, definitely. It's Muslim area. Mainly Muslim people living around here.
It is a Muslim area.
Yeah?
Lots of Bengali people and Muslim people live around this area.
Excuse me, is Whitechapel a Bengali area?
Yeah, Bengali area,
Yeah?
Bengali. Yeah.
Yeah? You don't think so?
No.
No.
And we just came here about half an hour back, so it's too early for us to comment.
Okay, fair enough.
And even if it is, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Because we come from India and multicultural.
You have some Islamic areas in India, though.
We have too many. We have too many Islamic areas.
Whitechapel's an area, no?
Is it a Muslim area?
I say there's a high percentage of Muslims, but I wouldn't call it a Muslim area. It's an area for anyone.
I presumably, yes. It's a nice Muslim area because there's a big mosque here and all the food are halal. That's the most important.
So at the weekend, just that way, there was a Christian preacher that obviously caused a lot of drama within the area. The police were called on the pretense that the Christian preacher had said things about Islam. Now, those who called the police officer were, I guess, under the misapprehension that it is an offense to say anything bad about Islam. But you can understand why, because just a couple of yards behind me is one of the biggest mosques in Western Europe with a capacity of 7,000 worshippers at a time. So we are really in the eye of the storm here in Whitechapel. Some residents are saying the police should be called if someone says something offensive about Muslims. But that raises a bigger question. Where does offence end and criminality begin? In the UK, blasphemy laws were scrapped years ago. The law covers threats and harassment, not simply hurt feelings. Critics argue that once you start policing offence, you risk creating different standards for different groups. And that's where the tension really lies.
Which already have them.
If people say things that are offensive to Muslims, should the police be called?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So you see what's going on here, and just a second or two before before this guy came on screen and I paused the video, you might have seen that the Whitechapel subway station, the tube station, had the name of the station in both Arabic and English on it. And look, that's obviously we're talking about people who came to England not to assimilate, but to take over neighborhoods. And this is a topic we've been talking about a lot. Now I want to go to a segment of an interview that Piers Morgan did with Gad Saad, the great professor and public intellectual from Montreal, originally Lebanese.
Like Gad Saad.
And he had the following exchange
with
what he Piers has to Morgan. Say. So have a look at this.
Usually
pull it up. There we go.
Draw the analogy that I promised earlier.
The shingles virus is something that you and I, given that we're roughly the same age, is something that we should be concerned about. It lays dormant in you for 20, 30, 40 years. And then there is a catalyst that then can trigger the shingles virus, and it results in a very uncomfortable situation for you, even though it lay dormant in you for 40 years. So when Islam is only 1% of the population, or 2 or 3, they don't yet have the numbers to be able to do the things that would otherwise worry you. But once they become 20%, 30%, 40%, then we can exactly predict the trajectory as we would diabetes. So again, you have to have the imagination to extrapolate into the future, and then hopefully, inshallah, the light will come to you.
Right, but there'll be lots of people who hear you, compare Islam to a disease, who will find that incredibly offensive. And there'll be many millions of Muslims in the UK, because statistically, the absolutely vast majority of Muslims in the UK do not commit radical acts of terrorism. So 99% at least are living in peaceful harmony and not engaging in this. And in fact, a tiny fraction of British Pakistani Muslim men, for example, were engaged in the grooming gangs, albeit their behavior was disgusting and reprehensible, and the cover-up was just as bad. So my point being that,
what's the reason they had to cover it up?
To the panel, the vast majority of sex attacks in the UK are still perpetrated by white men, for example. Right? So, statistics can be twisted any way people want.
What's the per
capita?
capita?
This categorization of Islam as a disease in a country like the UK, I just don't sense that.
Pierce doesn't know
by
per
the way,
capita.
I don't know if you're doing this willfully or not. I'm not categorizing Islam as a disease. I'm drawing an analogy. The definition of an analogy is to draw exactly a comparative mechanism of how things might proliferate. So I'm not saying Islam.
Yeah, but you were direct. Hang on, Gad. Let's not be disingenuous. You were directly.
You are being disingenuous
to the impact of having a disease that spreads.
Pierce is always.
No, what I'm saying is that the phenomenon, whatever it may be, may lie dormant until there is a tipping point that serves as a catalyst. So if you don't like me comparing it to Islam, if we were to have millions and millions of Orthodox Jews that come into an area, there will be a number when the likelihood of teaching evolution in the schools where there are tons of Orthodox Jews would reduce, because they don't believe in the theory of evolution. So in this case, I'm not arguing that Jews are a disease. I'm drawing an analogy. But
okay, this is an absurd exchange because, as God said there, and I appreciate the way he put it, he doesn't know if Piers is doing this willfully or not. The difference between a comparison and an analogy is kind of what's escaping Piers Morgan. So on that point, God Saad put out a separate video to respond to Piers Morgan's inability to know the difference between a comparison and an analogy. Have a look at this.
He was being.
This is.
He deliberately stupid.
My most recent appearance on Piers Morgan's show might remember that the structure of our 20-minute exchange was him taking a position and then my offering a set of analogies to demonstrate the erroneous nature of his positions. And I use analogies because they're actually an incredibly important and powerful cognitive structure of how to make arguments. In this book right here, in my 2023 book, I really do hope more people were to go out and order a copy. Between pages 118 and 122, I offer some discussion of the importance of analogical reasoning. I'll just read a small part just from the introduction, although the entire section, the entire book is fantastic. In my public engagement, I often use analogical reasoning to demonstrate the fallacy of a given position. The power of analogies comes from our human desire to compare and contrast experiences and data. Or to put it in the context of this chapter, analogies apply intellectual variety seeking and interdisciplinary interest to the common sense application of logic. Some of the greatest scientific insights in human history were arrived at via analogical reasoning, perhaps none as famously as Johannes Kepler's use of extensive analogies in developing his cosmological work on planetary motion. So this is in the 2023 The Sad Truth About Happiness book. And so despite the fact that I had prepared a very broad range of analogies for Piers, I wasn't able to get through. The point that I was trying to make, I mean, there were different analogies were used for slightly different reasons, but one of the arguments I was trying to make is that you really have to have the imagination to extrapolate from a current position. If the current position is this, can I trace a trajectory to forecast where I'll be at time t plus x? And so let me try 3 new attempts, okay? So if a train is 1 kilometer away and it is traveling toward me where I am stuck on the train tracks, it's 1 kilometer away, it's traveling at 60 kilometers an hour, and now I have to decide, hey, can I predict the trajectory of where this is going to go? Yes. Well, it turns out if you do the calculations, Grok did the calculations for all these 3 examples I'm going to give you next, it takes exactly 60 seconds for the train to hit you. But at second 1, second 2, second 3, second 4, second ... 59, see, the train is not hitting me. There is no problem. So for 59 out of the 60 seconds, I was perfectly fine. This is how Piers is thinking. Look, here I am on the street. There's only 6% Muslims. Nothing can go wrong. The train is barreling down. Okay, you don't like this analogy? Here's another one. Now, these are, in a sense, hyperbolic because they seem so obvious, but they exactly demonstrate the point of the inability to extrapolate from a current position using very predictable trends to a future position. The 2 atomic bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of World War II by the Americans on Japan took 43 seconds to hit the ground from the place where they were launched or dropped. So for 42 out of those 43 seconds, the person who saw the bomb dropping said, see, the dropping of the bomb didn't result in anything. It's perfectly fine. At the 43 second, they're incinerated into oblivion. Imagination to extrapolate. The bomb is dropping. For 99% of the time, you're alive after it dropped. You're only dead when it hits the ground. Okay, number 3. If you jump off the Empire State Building, it takes about 8.8 to 9 seconds for your brain to be splattered on the ground because there is a very predictable reality. It's called gravity that will ensure that if you jump out, you will die. But for many, many seconds, you're not dead. As a matter of fact, it's a very exhilarating form of adrenaline free fall. But you're dead. So I hope my friend Piers Morgan, who, by the way, I really do appreciate going on his show because he's always very respectful with me. We always have good conversations. But I just need to find a way to crack that nut to be able to say, you can't keep going, but it's time t equal now. It's perfect, so we're all good. I'm trying. Take care, everybody.
Okay. God is great. God. So, he does a great job there. So this reminds me of a conversation I had with a friend of mine. So I grew up in Canada. I lived in Montreal until I was 14. And then I went for high school to Toronto and I stayed there through my college years. And, Canada has really turned quite against Israel. There were a lot of pro-Hamas demonstrations. Anti-Semitism has been on the rise precipitously in Canada. If you've been following what's been happening there for the last couple of years, massive increase in the Muslim population has contributed greatly to this. There was already some of this when I was there. When I was at York University back in the late 80s and early 90s, there was a Muslim student association that we had some run-ins with. That was the very beginning of it. but things have gotten much, much worse in Canada. So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who's still back in Canada, and I asked him, are you planning to leave? Like, at what point are the Jews planning to, are you planning to get up and leave and come to Israel? And he said, well, it's not as bad as you think it is here. So I said, okay. I said, do you have any hope or any optimism? Do you see any playbook moving forward of the situation improving for Jews in Canada? Or do you only see it deteriorating? And he admitted that he only sees it deteriorating. So I said, well, then in that case, it doesn't really matter, how far along you are on the process and how bad it currently is, because if you agree that the trajectory is only in one direction, the way God presents it in these analogies, to extrapolate a future situation from the current trajectory where it's obvious where it's going, and there's no rational reason to see the situation reversing itself. So that's what we call inevitability. So I think this is. I don't think I have to say any more. People in the West really need to wake up and realize that if there's any, there are parts of the West that are too far gone. Like you see what Newcastle. Whatever that neighborhood in London that we were showing in that first clip. What it looks like and what other parts of Europe look like. But for people who are in places like the United States and Canada, which maybe not be as far gone as Europe, there's some tough decisions that need to be made if this is ever going to get turned around. But the most basic, basic realization has to be what God is talking about here: is the ability to simply, logically,
radical Islamic states,
play things out in your mind and extract the obvious outcome from the current situation. And I think that's what a lot of people in the West are missing, probably somewhat willfully, because they don't want to admit that things are as far gone as they are. All right, folks. Thanks for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. And of course, check out all the great content we're putting up at the Israel 365 News channel. God bless.
And I knew Charlie, the real Charlie, and Charlie knew the real Candace. Charlie really was an amazing person. Charlie was a brother to me. There is no Candace without Charlie.
She's jealous of Erica Kirk. Not only is she evil, she's wicked, she's a horrible person. And any people that are following her that are conservative or not conservative, if you're Republican, you're not Republican. If you're even a Democrat, you're not a good person.
Because Candace Owens is either going through the throes of mental illness or because she is a sick human being, or both.
All right, Warriors, I'm sure you've heard by now that Candace Owens has just released an investigative docuseries on the wife of Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk.
I don't know if
and
I'll
she
check
is
it
pretty
out.
much
I might want to
saying
listen to
some of
the
the most unthinkable things
reviews
that you
of
can
it
only
more so.
imagine. And I want to just talk about this, and I'm going
Highlights.
to let
Sure, it's a
this
lot of
man who is a
fluff.
pastor talk about this as well. That is what I'll be talking about today on Chat with me, Linda B. All right, Warriors, you know what to do. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, select the all notification bell. Stick around to the end. Also, remember to support me in my 1-hour TV show. It's a family-friendly political drama called Liztown. Click the link in the comments section below. It is the pinned comment at the top. View the trailer, rate it, give me your feedback, and vote yes. Voting yes on Liztown gets us one step closer to getting the project greenlit. It is a 1-hour TV show that does not have the evil indoctrination that they try to shove down our throats. Vote yes on Liztown today. Warriors, Candace Owens has just released a series investigating Erica Kirk. Now, let me just say, I don't know these people personally. I've never met either Candace or Erica. And I have questions on both sides. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not saying this person did this or this person did that. I am just here to report what is out there. I do not know what to believe. Let me be clear. What I do believe is Candace Owens is driven by an evil spirit. It is not just about the Kirks. It is also about her seemingly being anti-Semitic, how she's burned bridges over the years from every boss seemingly that she's worked for ever since her life became public. You know, from Turning Point USA to Daily Wire and other places that she's worked for, is like there's always a problem. And you got to admit, when the same thing keeps happening to someone over and over again, are we going to blame the other person, or are we going to look at the common denominator, which is in this case Candace Owens? So she's got this new docuseries out, and I have not yet seen it. I don't want to help her in any way with this foolishness. And I'm going to tell you right now, Candace Owens, in my opinion, is suffering from narcissism, and I think she's just jealous. Not just jealous, but envious. She is suffering from envy really bad. And I also saw where someone posted, again, I'm just saying allegedly to everything in this video. I'm not saying I believe one thing or the other, but I do believe she's evil. Candace is. I do believe she's evil. I do. And she's driven by something that wants to destroy. And someone posted that they believe Candace Owens and her husband, George Farmer, actually are behind what happened to Charlie Kirk. Now, that's what that person posted. I'm not saying that. I would never say something like that. I have no proof of that. But that is what is out there. And what she's doing is projecting, getting the eyes off of what they really did. Because according to this person, again, I'm not saying it for myself. They believe, this other person believes, that Candace and her husband wanted to be the next in line to lead Turning Point USA because they were over the London version. There was a London launch, a UK launch of Turning Point. You all remember that. I did a video about
I don't know if we have another one.
A Turning Point in the UK. And that is where Candace supposedly met her husband, George Farmer. Because of that, that's why she's jealous. She's angry because she's not the one to lead, and that's what she wanted. So now, instead of just going about her business, being on a successful podcast, some say the #1 podcast in the entire world, that's not good enough for Candace Owens. She tries to trash and destroy what she cannot be head of.
To destroy a lot.
So that is her.
Yeah, she
that
doesn't
is
have
the
ownership
reasoning
of it.
behind
She wants it gone.
doing this. But I am going to let you hear from a couple of folks. Okay, I got a pastor here, and I also have Ben Shapiro.
This is not some propaganda
What's the matter,
from
baby?
Zionists that are attacking you because you're attacking Charlie Kirk. People are attacking you because you're a wicked, evil person. And see, the way people, narcissists, see, Candace is a narcissist. I know this as a counselor. See, even though I'm a pastor, my background is in counseling, right? So my degree is in Christian counseling or biblical counseling. I have a degree in leadership as well, in ministry. But Candace is a narcissist. I've studied narcissism in depth, and she's a narcissist. This is what narcissists do. They're able to find and twist everything to make it about them. So the criticism it's got to be some. It can't be she just reflects and says maybe I've gone too far. It has to be a doubling down and like everybody's against me because I'm the one that has the truth. That's narcissism. That's also demonic. That's also like the spirit of pride. That's also demonic. But Candace has to tell herself that to make herself feel better, because the reality of it, she's not an emotionally healed well person. Because emotionally healed people don't do this. People who are emotionally stable in their emotions, I don't know what happened to her. I don't know what happened in her marriage. I don't know if the death of Charlie Kirk made her lose her mind.
Yeah, that one's got blue
so
cap.
in love with him, and she's angry at Erica because she really wanted him, and he married her and left her Turning Point, and she felt like she should have had Turning Point, and she's going on this all-out assault. First, it went from I would stop if Erica told me to stop, to now she's like full-fledged attacking Erica. Remember, just so you know how demonic it is, I want you to remember that she said if Erica told her to stop in the beginning, she would stop. Not only has she not stopped,
And then
but
Erica told her to stop.
She is now fully put all her energy on attacking Erica. It's no longer about finding who killed Charlie Kirk. is now just attacking Erica, because the reality of the situation, she's jealous of Erica Kirk. Not only is she evil, she wicked, she's a horrible person. And any people that are following her that are conservative or not conservative, if you're Republican, you're not Republican. If you're even a Democrat, you're not a good person. Whoever is following wickedness like this, when God tells us to love and cherish and treat the widows with honor and respect, and that's in the scriptures, and to not let your good be evil spoken of, and to let no unwholesome communication come out of your mouth, that's in the scriptures. Candace is a wicked human being. I come from a person who was Blexic and all that and loved Candace, but she is wicked and evil. This is not a Zionist plot. You just are evil, Candace, and we are done with it, and we're calling you out on your wicked and evil ways.
Yesterday, she came out with something that she had announced she was doing, which is a series. This is a trailer for a series, a teaser trailer that is titled Bride of Charlie, which is supposedly now an expose on the evil, nefarious, predatory nature of Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk, who again was shot in the neck, not by some sort of vast conspiracy involving French intelligence and Egyptian airplanes, but by a trans-loving gay man who is a furry. That is the actual story. And because Candace Owens is either going through the throes of mental illness or because she is a sick human being, or both, she has decided that she is going to turn her fire on the widow. Don't believe me? I know. Listen, there are a lot of people who listen to Candace. She has a huge audience. This is what she does. This is who she is. Yeah. She is a conspiratorial, evil person, because that's who would do something like this. A conspiratorial, evil person. Now, the only reason that I'm playing this trailer is so you understand the extent of the evil that Candace Owens is perpetrating here. Because obviously I do not wish to promote her propagandistic horror that she is now pushing on a grieving widow with small children. The entire purpose of this is so you understand what Candace Owens is and what she is doing.
That Kirk has died after he was shot from a nearby building after being shot at Utah Valley University. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead.
The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
I didn't even get to give him a kiss goodbye.
That young man, I forgive him.
Take your time.
Erica Kirk has been named the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
My husband's dead. I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead.
It's weird to say excited. Describes her husband's funeral as the event of the century. Merch, hats.
We have 50,000 plus hat orders.
Nobody knows why she's out there in a glittering pantsuit in a recreated tent that her husband tragically was murdered in, throwing merch out.
Everyone grieves differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that.
Zionists, the Prime Minister of Israel, all lied through their teeth about Charlie Kirk.
Her operation was in Constanta, the epicenter of Romania's trafficking scandal.
We need conversations to have with a 15-year-old. I'm going to touch your butt. $8.6 million to their own shell company. What is going on?
We have nothing to hide. My aunt used to tell me, never do something that you don't want on the front page of a newspaper.
There you go, Warriors. There is the infamous Candace Owens in her little trailer. And there was also Ben Shapiro, who she had a falling out with when they were working together on the Daily Wire. And she was removed from the Daily Wire in March, I believe, 2024. So it has been just about 2 years.
Really?
I do think that there's something going on there with, and this is just a belief. I believe Candace Owens is jealous. I keep saying jealous, but it's not the right word. She has a lot of envy over not being the one chosen. Maybe she had a thing for Charlie. I think she probably wanted to head Turning Point, like I said earlier. She is livid, and she has unleashed evil onto a grieving widow with small children, and she has not stopped. Erica Kirk said stop. She's still going, even though Erica Kirk said stop. So she's not going to stop because she is a narcissistic, evil evil woman. Yes, I think Erica Kirk grieves differently, but we have a bunch of different people in the world. Everybody doesn't do everything the same way. And I think Erica is trying to just get through this in her own way. Okay, I don't know these people. I don't know what they are capable of. But I've seen a lot of things against Candace, and I've seen a lot of footage, some of that same footage that Candace Owens is using in her documentary. I've already seen it on other platforms concerning Erica Kirk. I just don't want to, I just refuse to believe that Erica had anything to do with what happened to her husband. I am looking at Candace going, you certainly look some type of way. Could it be you and your husband? Because I did another video, you guys remember when I was at AmFest. I did a video saying, I'm just asking questions. Candace, did you have anything to do with this? Did you? Because you are envious of Erica Kirk. Is that what's going on? Granted, I'm not very close to the situation, but I do have discernment. And I do see, yes, a grieving widow. Yes, she may not be grieving in the most traditional way, but that is her. Okay, I cannot go up against that. What I am going up against is someone monetizing off of someone else's grief. And that is what Candace Owens is doing. And don't forget her history. She leaves behind a trail of broken bridges, burned bridges, with everywhere that she's worked. She has. So am I supposed to just ignore that? Are we supposed to ignore that? So this Bride of Charlie, and is just, if you guys want to go look at it, you can knock yourself out, but it's not something that I plan on looking at all. I'm not supporting this foolishness. I'm not supporting this evil. I do believe that the truth is eventually going to come out, and I will pray that the truth comes out one way or another. But at the end of the day, my take is that Candace Owens is very envious and wanted to be over Turning Point. So it's like Erica got the man, and now she's CEO of the organization that I wanted to be over. And Candace, has launched an all-out attack to destroy everything that her supposed dear friend built from the ground up. You all tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you agree with the pastor at the beginning? Do you agree with me or Ben Shapiro? What are your thoughts, your true thoughts? Be honest. Don't forget to like this video, comment, share, subscribe to my channel.
Let's see if there's anything like legitimate.
So you have anything you're gonna do when you're level 60?
Yeah, get better armor.
Awesome. I think it's gonna be 2 kills from now, right?
I guess. It's about 2:30 a kill.
There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you, Zach.
Level 60.
A little bit. A sandwich. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Chick-fil-A nuggets too. That sounds good. Holy nuggets.
Yeah.
Should it come with any sausage?
Yeah. Chick-fil-A. And I doubt you're gonna.
Oh. Thank you, buddy.
Again, I'm gonna show y'all how these Democrats are such hypocrites and he's some of the biggest copycats. So Donald Trump had his State of the Union address today. It's a bipartisan event, but you know what? The Democrats had already decided most of them were not gonna show up. They doing the boycott. Some of them showed up. Ilhan Omar was there. I seen Al Green, he was there, and they protested while Donald Trump was delivering his State of the Union.
Al Green had a sign saying black people are not apes, which is like, oh gosh, here we go. And Ilhan Omar, a little bit of that pirate out screaming during the middle of Trump's speech.
Now, the funny part about it is they get so much applause for doing that. But I recall when Donald Trump had his National Governors Association event that's usually bipartisan, and he decided not to invite the Democratic-leaning governors, y'all threw a fit. It was all over CNN. Oh, Donald Trump racist because he didn't invite Westmore, the only black governor, blah, blah. We heard so much nonsense about that. But now y'all decide to do the same thing. Okay, so we just going to boycott. We're going to not show up to an event that's usually bipartisan because we don't like the politics of the president. I'm saying, so which one is it? Is Trump wrong or are y'all wrong? Because you're doing the same thing. And then peep this. This is the funny part about it. When the Super Bowl happened, it was a lot of people who didn't want to see Bad Bunny. I watched the Super Bowl. I watched the halftime show. But it was a lot of people that didn't want to see Bad Bunny. What they decided to do, they decided to have a mega turning point only halftime show that they watched. So in the meantime, while the Democrats were protesting, what did they do? They had their own Democratic State of the Union going on while Trump was delivering his. So which one is it? Everybody laughed when it was the Turning Point USA event, but now they get some type of applause. That's why I keep saying these Democrats, such hypocrites. They left and right. They tell you that they hate this and then they do it when it's beneficial for them. I keep telling y'all that.
The Democrats are definitely hypocrites. I think people can see that now. People are really upset that they didn't stand up for any of the people like Irina Zarutska, the woman who lost her life on that tragic bus ride, or for people like the military gentleman that was flying the helicopter that they used to go get Maduro, and he took a whole bunch of gunfire to his legs. He went in there and stood in front of all those people, got a standing ovation, and none of the Democrats stood up. Like, come on. The Democrats did not even stand up for Irina Zarutska's mother. standing right next to Erica Kirk.
How do you not stand?
A couple thoughts on the State of the Union tonight. First of all, I think it's absolute insanity. The dude talked for an hour, 48 minutes. I didn't hear a single a single nothing. No filler words. Has a perfect transcribed transcript. Number two, literally gave the Democrats a layup. If you support American citizens versus supporting illegal aliens, protecting which one? Stand up. Stood for 3 minutes. All of them stayed seated.
For 3-4 hours. Telling you exactly who they are. What else could that be? Trump got him with that one. That should show everybody who these people are. Stand if you are here to put the American citizens first before illegal aliens, and none of the Democrats stood up. Get out of here.
Yes. I mean, what else do you need to talk about?
Just in a few hours, Donald Trump is going to go to the U.S. Congress and talk about State of the Union.
What?
He will tell a whole bunch of lies because he has failed to take care of the prices. Prices have continuously go up, making it harder for average American.
You had to go in with an adult.
No, that was.
Oh, that's cool.
Well,
did it come with fries too?
No, it didn't come with fries. Well, I got frosted and it was a frosted Coke. And I got.
Mom, you're blocking the way.
Life is tough. Rents are going up. Grocery prices are going up. Donald Trump will tell you all is well. Don't believe him.
I just have a hard time with Sharif Anadar telling me, as a naturally born American that has had lineage and generations here, what I should be thinking about my president when this guy is really struggling to speak the English language and is already telling me that Donald Trump is going to say lies, even though he has no idea what Trump was going to talk about.
You want more?
This is why the Democrats are cooked.
The Democratic Party should absolutely be ashamed of itself. I mean, did y'all see that State of the Union speech? The Democratic Party refused to stand for the American public or applaud for the American public at all. But when it came time for illegal aliens, they were all hand claps and they had something to say and their little fuck ICE buttons.
Typical. Who the heck are these people wearing buttons that say F ICE, abolish ICE, let's go against the federal government, let's scream at the president during the middle of his speech? Yep. Come on now.
But when it came to the American public, you've seen they just don't care about us. They don't care if Americans are taken care of. They don't care if Americans are footing the bill for all these illegal aliens. I mean, that Democratic side.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, Mike's going to be muted.
Must be full of
Hey, Pip, we're back. No problem. Is there a chance I could get a soda? Thanks. I figured. Be okay. There was some lingering over here that I had picked up earlier, but yeah, I'm gonna get one shot. Yeah, I'll have my burger now. Sure. Okay, I didn't get one shot this time. That's good. I think I'm still in first place. -8. Okay. It's 3.
Seatbelt. Let's go. Okay. Stop. Stop the car. Yeah.
Yay.
And then we
Okay.
go.
Yeah, 13. Okay. We can do this friendly battles now. Russell. Oh, this account doesn't exist anymore. Friendly. Huh? Got a Rudolph platform, huh? I see. They're a Clash Clans player. 2017, 2022. Yeah, pretty cool, like, browser add-on that I like playing. How did you dodge both my attacks? And what?
Oh no! Get over here! You have to ram into
Yay.
You have to drive in the car.
Cool. We've made it here. Get a lot more to upgrade. Trying to get everything to level 10. I'm not sure which one I want more though. To be level 10. Dodge there, that's great. Thank you. I have enough in there. I don't have a joke. Yeah, I could use it. Yeah, Eli was drinking out of it, and I don't know what he did with the cat.
Tina?
I know, I saw that. It was like, oh, that's weird. Yeah, doesn't really need ice. Yeah, it'll be okay. Okay. One more thing. No.
Somebody that does. It's the guy that works for the store. Up in the car, we have to store.
Maybe I can dodge. Get lucky dodge twice. Nope. Dodge this one maybe. George, don't go. Oh, I got 15 XP. Okay, I don't want that expedition.
Over on CNN, the dumbest woman on television, Abby Phillip, here she implies that Trump giving these awards and bringing these people out, that it's just a game show. It's just a game show. We should never have a human moment. We're just robots.
But he utilized almost like these game show type moments where you're seeing awards being presented to really bring these moments of togetherness that otherwise might not.
Yes, but you're saying it in a negative light. That is what he did. And by the way, they always do it. Biden does it. Obama did it. Oh, look at that person up there.
Huge
His
deal.
brothers, uncles, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is what they all do. Now, interestingly, because the speech really was so good and Trump stayed controlled and he had his nice applause breaks and the Democrats were acting like such little and all of that, even former Obama senior advisor David Axelrod, here he is on that very same panel, basically saying the thing was pretty good, which is not what David Axelrod wants to say.
He also basically kept control of himself, which I think will be a great relief to his strategists and aides there. But the question, I mean, I think he did well from their perspective for the reasons that you say, John, and he used the gallery very skillfully to kind of simulate empathy, which is a thing that he's been lacking. And that's sort of a surrogate for that.
In a world where every missed call is lost revenue, small business owners face an impossible choice. Answer every ring no matter what, or risk losing customers they'll never hear from again. Hiring a full-time receptionist isn't realistic for most businesses, but letting calls go unanswered isn't an option either. That's why today's video is sponsored by Nextiva's Expert. Nextiva's Expert is an AI receptionist that answers every call on the first ring, even if the business owner is in a meeting, on a job, or unavailable. It can handle multiple calls at the same time, book appointments directly into a calendar, respond to texts, and transfer calls with a full summary when human follow-up is needed. Customers get fast, professional responses, and no lead slips through the cracks. Expert can even place outbound calls and texts to confirm appointments or follow-up, and every conversation is recorded and transcribed for review. Setup takes just minutes, and the voice and messaging can be fully customized so it sounds natural, not robotic. Right now, when you go try expert.ai/Rubin, you get free professional setup and a free business phone line and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Never miss a call or lose a lead. All right, so look, it's a little bit of a back and forth with him. It's to simulate empathy. I mean, Donald Trump has shown much more empathy, not suicidal empathy, but actual empathy with people who have been killed and murdered and are the victims of illegals and crime and all of those things. He's shown what empathy. I mean, I don't even want to do it. I thought maybe we would do it this morning. We would flash back to Biden's last speech where you want to empathy. He was emoting in the most crazy ways because he couldn't control his emotions because of whatever's happening to him cognitively. What empathy is it when you flood the country with all of these people who create all of the chaos? You guys pretend you have empathy. Donald Trump actually does actions that indicate that he is empathetic because he is sympathetic of the American people. He actually cares about the American people, not the illegals.
Boat. No. I don't think play football. No, boat. Boat?
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by FiveMind.com. It's just such a bad look, and I feel like if the media did its job, there's no way Democrats would ever be a competitive party. If people actually saw their behavior, if there was significant reporting on it, like there is on anything MAGA, anything remotely negative, tangentially connected to the president or the GOP, if they actually did their job, I mean, almost nobody would want to be on this side because frankly, the behavior is revolting. That's exactly what it is, you know? It's like, think about just an awful human being that you would never want to be around. Think about that person then making it into your friend group. I'm pretty sure it'd be unanimous. If this person was a real scumbag, most people would be like, yeah, you know, maybe let's not invite that dude next time. Well, that dude, or I guess that nondescript gendered individual, in this case, yeah, that's the left. That's the Democrat Party. These people are just the worst. And we're seeing it right now with their reaction to the USA men's hockey team winning gold. This like pathological obsession with politics. Everything, every event for these people turns into a political battleground. You know, I'm watching these boys that just won the gold medal, and I find the whole thing so heartwarming. They're so happy, they're so proud. It's such an incredible moment for them and of course the nation. But if you listen to the left, what they're saying, I mean, apparently it's disgraceful Why? Well, because it involves Trump, right? They're showing Donald Trump a basic level of respect. They're respecting the country. And according to the left, that's like some sort of, sacrilegious crime. Let me show you guys what's going on. And then, of course, let me rant about it. We got some stuff to get into. So let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So, it's the inability to separate political disagreement from general everyday life. In my view, that's a sign that you are just pathologically brain warped. I kind of described what's going on, but let me show you guys maybe some of the best moments. Again, speaking of what I was saying, it's pretty damn heartwarming.
Unbelievable, and you were all unbelievable. I tell you what, I just told my people 2 minutes ago, I didn't know they'd be calling. I said, we're giving the State of the Union speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something, but if you would like to, it's the coolest night, it's the biggest.
We're in.
Speech. Congratulations, and I hope to see you, Cash, Tuesday night. And I want to shake hands. I'm going to shake hands with everybody.
And now they're taking off to meet the President of the United States. We're going to wish them some safe travels there. And we will hopefully see them when they come back. If not, see them tonight at the State of the Union address.
Win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
This is what pure patriotism looks like. These guys just won gold in the toughest competition in the Winter Olympics. They're the hockey champions of the world. And here they are getting exactly what they should. They're getting full White House treatment, flying on an Air Force jet, meeting the president. They're invited to the State of the Union address. And just think about how cool that is. To visit the White House, to meet the president, to fly on an Air Force jet. Really, it's a dream for any athlete, a moment that I think should be beyond politics. It's more about the country than it is about whoever the president is currently. But of course, these boys can't have their moment. No, the leftist gremlins have to come in, and apparently, it's just so disgusting.
Look, I want a statement from USA Hockey now about the abhorrent behavior that the men's national team just condoned for the entire world to see. I'm a huge hockey fan. I play hockey. I love the game. I love my Caps team. I watched the gold medal match yesterday morning, and I was excited for them to win. Awesome game. But their antics in the locker room, partying it up with Kash Patel, laughing on the phone with Trump when he mentioned that he'd have to invite the women's team to the White House or the State of the Union, whatever they're trying to pull. It's disgusting. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I cannot believe that they just went on the world stage and showed how dumb they are.
Now, the moment she mentioned she was a Caps fan, that should have been the first discrediting moment. But holy freaking crap, these people are just crazy. A bunch of Greta Thunbergs over here. How dare you visit the White House after we lost an election? These people, man, it's insane. And, just flip the script real quick. Joe Biden was president for 4 years, and I think most of us, it's pretty safe to say we absolutely despised him. Although, I guess throughout those 4 years, it was more despised his team and his handlers rather than him, because handlers. He didn't even really exist, let's be real. But in my opinion, Joe Biden was a criminal. He was a corrupt politician who was taking foreign bribes. He was also the worst thing to happen to free speech in modern American history. He opened the floodgates. It was 4 years of desecration in terms of American sovereignty. I had very strong feelings, but when a sports team showed up at the White House, I didn't care, because it actually wasn't even about Joe Biden. Just let those guys have their moment. It's not about politics in these situations. It's about country, not the man in the Oval Office. But no, of course, the leftoids, they just can't see past it. The leftist view is that you either abide by their extreme delusions, or you are a horrible person who should lose everything and be totally exiled from society. They just can't let these boys enjoy their moment. They cannot think beyond party politics and put the country first. It's impossible. And of course, it's nauseating, especially because you're just ruining the moment, These boys did the country proud, and it should be a rally rallying, uniting moment, but instead we have to still deal with this freaking crap all the time. These negative Nancys. We just can't have nice things. No, we're not allowed. If Donald Trump is president, if the Democrats lost an election, nobody is allowed to have fun. Just annoying people. And apparently I'm not the only person who feels that way. Even Ellen Hughes, the mother of Jack Hughes, the young man who scored that golden goal, well, she's getting hit with all kinds of, deranged leftist messages, as if she or her son should apologize for taking a phone call from President Trump and going to the White House. And listen to her response.
I think at the end of the day, it's just about the country. And the moment that these players, both the men and women, can bring so much unity to a group and to a country. People that cheered on that don't watch hockey. People that have politics on one side or on the other side. And that's all both the men's team and the women's team care about. If you could see what we see from the inside and the men and women sharing, dorm rooms and halls and flex floors and the camaraderie and the synergy and the way the women cheered on the men and the way the men cheered on the women. Yeah. That's what it's all about. And the other things they cannot control. They care about humanity. They care about unity and they care about the country.
Again, it's always that same thing. If people really knew the culture on the left, nobody in their right mind, except for the very, very small minority of Blue Anon freaks, would be cool with this stuff. People have perceptions that are kind of crafted by headlines in the mainstream media, but if people really understood the nitty-gritty of the political dynamic right now, if people understood what the left truly stood for, or rather what they don't stand for, their lack of standards, their unbelievably atrocious behavior across the board, if people actually understood it, there's no way anybody would side with these people. Most normal people appreciate the country. Most normal people can separate politics from everyday life. Most normal people believe in free speech and don't want to censor people just because the left can't handle opinions that make them feel sad or go against their worldview. If people truly understood, nobody, again, except for that very slim minority, would want to be on the side with these absolutely insufferable, divisive clowns. And I truly believe that. If the mainstream media, situation, if the dynamic was different there, the world would be totally different. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Good. All right. Yep, I'm going to call it a night. Thanks for coming out, and God bless.